Welcome to another episode of the Business Spotlight Series. My name is Nate Woods. I'm a senior partner here at Action Coach Peachtree, and today I'm joined by Brandi Barnett. She's the founder of SkyDance Academy in Fayetteville. So we're going to talk a little bit about her business, her journey into business ownership, some challenges she's faced, and how she was able to overcome those and really learn what it's like to operate her business. If it's your first time on the channel, make sure to like and subscribe so you get notifications for new interviews just like this one. And Brandi, welcome. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So if you would just give us a brief overview of your background and high level, tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay, so background in dance. So before I became a director or an instructor, I was first a dancer. So I danced probably at the very early age of maybe 4 or 5. And like most dancers who start that young, just because my parents put me in it. Obviously, I loved it. I took to it naturally, and it became something that became a part of my life. Journeyed all the way through grade school. Did a little dancing in college, but not very much. And then once I got out of college, which I am an educator also by trade, so I am in the field of early childhood and that too. But then when I got out of college, I started to teach dance, actually at the dance school that I grew up in. So kind of giving back in that way. And then from there, I just kind of was like, I can kind of do this. And I started at a community center with I would say about 6 girls, including one of those girls were my own child. And so from there, it just kind of grew. And now we've been in business for 15 years. And
That
we're
is awesome.
located in Fayetteville in our own brick and mortar.
Awesome. Awesome. So when you launched the studio, did you have any partners or was it just you? You went at this all on your own?
All by myself.
That
No
is awesome.
partners.
That is
Yep.
awesome.
One
I
man
love that.
show.
So tell me a little bit about what is the current role that you play in the business now?
So a director, still a director. We are currently fully staffed. So like early in my early years, I did a lot of teaching. Obviously, as we just kind of was growing as a very young studio, I had maybe one or two other teachers to kind of support me in other genres that I was not so well versed in. But then as we grew, like now I am fully staffed. And so I only teach maybe like once or twice out of the week. And then so I have like so Skydance is one big umbrella, right? But then within Skydance, we also have a competition company team. And so
Okay.
that's what I consider my elite team. And so I do a lot of work with my elite team. And then there are my rec kids, and then that's where most of my teachers kind of teach most of those classes. So I would say mostly director hat, and then fully hands-on with my company performance team.
Awesome. Love it. So let's talk a little bit about your academy and kind of what makes it special. So who primarily are you looking to serve? Who's your ideal student?
Anybody who wants to learn the artistry of dance. I don't really have an ideal student. I mean, kids who have no background to very advanced students can come to Skydance. Anybody who wants and loves, dance, we can curate that from the most beginner to the most advanced dancer. So, yeah, we take everybody.
Awesome. What does competition look like in your space, and how do you separate yourself from the competition?
So what competition looks like is crazy. It's exciting. It's crazy, but it's much like Dance Moms, like for real, except I'm really not Abby Lee. I'm like a watered down version of Abby Lee. But it's all of those things that you see if you're familiar with the Dance Mom show. If that world is, I mean, they did a great job of really like portraying that because it's really like that. It's heavy on rehearsals. The dance moms are crazy. The kids are excited. The choreography is intense. The competition is, it's the adrenaline and all of those things really do exist in the competition world. In fact, we are actually now gearing up for competition. Competition season starts in February. So we started pretty early this year, probably in like July or so, learning choreography. I bring in guest choreographers, just really from all over. Try to keep those connections in the dance world. So they come in, they lay choreography, I clean it. Some of my teachers actually lay some choreography too, so we're gearing up for that. So that looks like that, the costumes, the rehearsals. It's crazy. I keep saying crazy because it's crazy. It's very time consuming, but in the end, it's very much worth it. I think the dancers, um, they get a chance to see their competition that's out there. And, Skydance has kind of made a name for ourselves. I think in this competition circuit, we're known. And so when we come in, they kind of expect a certain high level tier of dancing. And I think that we always give that. And so our kids are excited to bring you know, what we consider good dancing to the stage. So
Awesome.
that's what that looks like. And then your second question was, what was your second question? How do
Uh,
I
yeah. How do you differentiate yourself from other maybe studios in the market?
Oh, I like to say that we're special because I feel like we're a family studio. You know what I mean? I think that you can go anywhere to learn dance. You can. You can go and learn the skill of dance. But I also feel like Skydance is more than just dance. It's family. I feel like these kids leave with lifelong friendships. We teach them so many other things other than just dance, life lessons, things that they can take with them throughout their whole journey of life. So I like to consider us a family studio. We're a family.
Perfect. So as you're trying to get the message out to the community about your studio and share your story, what type of marketing do you do within the business? What's been effective for you?
Honestly, I'll say word of mouth has probably been our biggest method for marketing. Of course, we have social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok now are all of those social media platforms. Competition, just getting, like, again, just lifting that up again, getting our names out there to different competitions. Other studios are recognizing us, and that's just the nature of the business. Some people will come to us because they see us and they see our work on the stage in the competition circuit. And no shade to other studio directors, but that's just, and I've lost some girls too from to other dance studios in that market as well. I'm just being full transparent here. But yeah, I think I would say the biggest probably would be word of mouth. Like, hey, we go to this studio or we were a part of this studio. And I think, like I said, it's about how people feel when they leave my dance studio. Anybody can go and take dance classes and learn plies and tendus and how to turn. But it's something when you can say, no, I really like the culture of that studio and the studio community, and I kind of pride myself on that, and that's kind of how I feel like I get my marketing out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So we talked a little bit about the business and some things that you've done there. Let's dive into to your journey a little bit more. So you talked about giving back and teaching after you got out of school. What was that kind of pivot point where you decided I'm going to go into this for myself? I'm going to open my own studio.
Yeah, so again, I went back and I started to teach at the studio where I had been groomed as a dancer. And I really enjoyed that. But it just, I don't know, I'd like to say it was something that God planted in me, a seed. That it just one day I just felt like, wow, what, I can really do this. And I didn't do it in a way that was like, oh, I'm gonna like try to be competitive to the studio owner who I was working under. It was more like, no, I'm just going to do this on my own. I went in fact, my faith is Christianity, and I heard a sermon on a Sunday, and it really spoke to me, and it kind of gave me this like ammunition, or just something that, like I said, it was a seed that was planted, I guess, from that message. And from there I just kind of went, and I was obedient, I guess I'll say. And I went to a community, and I was like, hey, I went to actually kind of an underserved community, where it would where where kids probably would not have been able to maybe afford dance, in this community. And I said, I'm going to go to this rec center. It was actually the Godby Road Rec Center in College Park. And they were very receptive. They were like, yeah, we don't have this, but they had the space. They had like this open, I don't know, they use it as kind of like a what do you call it? Like a multi-purpose room. But the room had already had like mirrors in it, and kind of like a flooring. So it was almost like, oh, God, maybe this is something that I'm supposed to do. So I did it. And like I said, it really did just jump off really quickly. So I think I was just being obedient to something that was planted in me. And I mean, I had been doing dance all my life. I had now gotten out of college. I had been teaching now in a studio. So I was familiar with just kind of the instruction of how, what that looked like. I knew what a dancer looked like from that perspective, but now I had gotten a little bit of teaching experience. And so I just had the confidence to go and do it. And that's kind of how that journey started. And I think just being obedient to maybe a calling or something that you just feel in your spirit that this is something that you're supposed to do, I think it will manifest what it's supposed to do. And that's what happened. And that's where SkyDance was birthed.
I love that.
And
That's
I
awesome.
do want to say my daughter's name is Skylar. And I named SkyDance after my daughter, my first daughter. I have two daughters. But my first daughter her name is Skylar. And that's where we got the name SkyDance.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So 15 years with the studio now.
Yep.
I'm sure you've come across some difficult times that you had to work through.
A lot. Still
What
today.
is one thing that kind of stands out a challenge that you had to face, and then how were you able to overcome it?
So I'm gonna give you two, just because I think they're most relevant, and these are two challenges that kind of come up a lot. One, it's difficult working with adults, right? I think the most rewarding part of owning a dance studio is working with the kids, because it's my passion. I love it. I can go in and just pour in the artistry of dance and really curate what they want as dancers, right? That's the easy part. The hard and the most challenging part is dealing with the parents, because, adults are adults. And so that could be the most challenging part. And what I have learned is that I'll never be able to please everyone or every parent. And so I'm not in the business of that. But I am in the business of just making sure that SkyDance provides excellent dance instruction and keep a wonderful studio community. So that's just been a challenge, just dealing with adults on a daily. And then the second is also staying competitive, because like everything evolves. So dance does too. Dance change. I mean, there's some things about dance that does not change, but as the world change, it changes, evolves. And just staying, like, I guess, abreast of what's new and what's hype, because the kids want to go where the newness and the hypeness is, right? And so just kind of balancing that, just so that I can ensure that SkyDance is still staying, true to like the artistry of dance and the foundation of what dance really is, but also still making sure that we're staying up with the times and evolving, so that I can stay competitive, because it's still a business.
Yep.
And we got to keep those kids coming. And so I think those are two challenges that I'll always have to face.
Yeah, that's a great transition. So as you're focusing on that evolution and continuing to push forward, where do you see the business in the next 3 to 5 years?
Hopefully, you know what? So I had for a while been wanting to move. We're located in Fayetteville off of Highway 92, and I have right now two studios, two spaces. Same location, just two studios. And I had been wanting to move, and I was just, telling my family and my closest friends, like, it's time for me to move. And, it's 15 years. I want to move location. And I guess it's just, inflation is real and it just wasn't time. So this past year, I just renovated my studio, which was great. It was a great investment for the business. So now I guess in the next 3 to 5 years, I would like to maybe potentially add one more studio space so that I'll have 3 floors or 3 studios so that I'll be more accommodating. It'll be more accommodating for classes, schedules. So that just in terms of like the space. And then of course, just growing more students so that we'll be able to touch more kids in the community in the surrounding areas. And yeah, I think just growth in terms of being able to service more children and potentially growing the business in terms of like the space.
Yeah,
That would
that's
be
awesome.
my 3 to 5 year goal.
Perfect. And having a great team is obviously going to be a key part of being able to do that.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a good one too. That's another challenge too. That was on my third one. Having good people.
well, let's talk about that for a minute. So, how do you find the great teachers? And is that something where there's a lot of training involved, or do they come in kind of ready to go?
That's a great question. So the dance world is actually very small, right? And when kind of been in the dance world since like myself in a very, since a very young age. And I failed to mention this too. I also went to a performing arts high school here in Atlanta in Fulton County. Not sure if you're familiar with Tri-Cities High School. So it's a very kind of high level, I like to say high level performing arts school in Atlanta. I like to call it the fame of Atlanta, where we offered all of the arts, dance, music, theater, all of that. So we put out many greats. But I say that to say the dance community or the arts community really is small. And so when you've been in it like all your life, like I have, I have connections. I know people and I know people who know people. So a lot of my instructors, our team has kind of come just from pulling from that community. Like, hey, yeah, we danced together at high school. Or, oh, you now teach at Tri-Cities. Or I know a dance teacher. Or I know somebody who's looking for, who's now back from, Broadway and they're looking to teach or boom, 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 boom. So a lot of my teachers have come from just the networking circle of just being in the arts. Now social media has a platform where teachers put up their interests and where teachers they're looking for. In fact, Facebook has like a whole dance teacher page where dance directors can go and pull and post what they're looking for. I don't really do that because we're kind of far. I mean, Fayetteville, I think that scares a lot of people. They're like, where's Fayetteville? You know, but so there's that. And then honestly, here lately, because we've been in dance, I mean in the business for 15 years, some of my old dancers are coming back now to give back to their studio.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And they are now coming in to be an instructor or a choreographer, which that makes me feel, proud as a dance director to see, a product of Skydance being able to come back and give back. So yeah, I would say just knowing that dance community, being in Atlanta and the dance Atlanta community has been able to kind of like give me some good quality teachers. And then now, some of my old dancers coming back to give back to their old studio.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So as we start to wrap up, I've got a couple rapid fire questions. So just quick, top of head, like bullet point answers. Sound
Okay.
good?
Yeah.
All right. What is the number one key to success for you?
Um, staying true to your business, like not wavering. Like whatever it is that you want and the vision and the goal for your business, staying true to that.
Perfect. What is one piece of advice you would give other business owners?
That what I just said.
Yep.
And you know, staying up, try to stay up on what's new, because I mean, I think it's important. I mean, things are always with social media being like everything now, you kind of got to stay on social media so you can see what the new trends are. Stay, you know, I don't want to say stay trendy, but stay trendy.
I like it. What is one book or podcast that you've listened to or read recently that you would highly recommend?
Ooh, that's tough. Now, why would you say that to me, Nate? I don't really, as a dance director, I don't have time to read. Or, okay, we're gonna skip that one.
Okay, fair enough. Last one of the rapid fire. So if you had to choose one area of your business that you could snap your fingers and immediately improve, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would improve my ooh, if I can snap my fingers right now, I would improve my staff, my relationships with my staff, my parents, and my students all together as a community.
Perfect. All right. So before I get to my final question today, what's the best way for people to learn more about Skydance or sign up for a class? How do they get in touch?
All right. So our website is SkyDanceAcademy.com. You can follow us on social media at SkyDance Academy ATL, both on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, those are all our platforms.
Perfect. I'll link all of that in the description so people can easily find it. My last question for you today is, what is most inspiring for you in the business?
Seeing dancers matriculate up through my program, doing something in the arts, whatever that is, and coming back and saying, you know, I got my foundation, or I got something from Skydance that led them to their greatness in the arts.
Awesome. Brandi, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Nate.